I'm telling you, all the good comedy has gone to commercials, I think. So anyway, okay, so it is time for Wax of Contrition. But first,
Uh-oh.
this is a really good but first, okay? You thought Kleenex was something? Okay. Spider-Man, rock reflections of a superhero. Now, as a diehard fan of early Crack the Sky records, I somehow stumbled upon this little gem in the early 2000s. I found out there was a long lost bonus track from Crack the Sky called Dr. Octopus. And I'll play that for you in a minute. But and now, of course, I've always maintained that John Palumbo and crew, Crack the Sky, they would have been bigger than the friggin' Dixie Cup if they had signed to any other label but Lifesong. The New York-based label was responsible for most of the Jim Croce catalog and supporting various members of the Manhattan Transfer. Hardly the perfect home for a Beatles-obsessed prog rock juggernaut like Crack the Sky.
Weird. Crack the Sky cover at Doom Festival.
Yep.
In their wisdom, Lifesong decided to release this oddball little tribute to the Webhead in 1975. The Crack the Sky song is a keeper, but the rest of it is some of the cheesiest, binge-inducing, three-dog night light fare you're ever likely to hear. All of it interspersed with Stan Lee's completely unnecessary narration.
It's so great.
I'm convinced there were just a bunch of extras from Eddie Rabbitt's band hanging around the studio, and somebody convinced them to put this train wreck together.
Okay, we'll play some highlights here. So, first of all, check out a few seconds of the caterwauling attempt at Blue-Eyed Soul that is No One's Got a Crush on Peter by Terry Minogue and Ray Stevens. You're too clean for your own good. If they only understood. I can just picture this as a theme song to some terrible 70s sitcoms.
All right. Wait, there's more. Now, how much would you pay? How about the shrieking doo-wop of Gwendolyn, complete with enough shooty boos to make Frankie Valli hemorrhage?
This is so new to me. Won't you explain? Please, I want to know.
Okay, we're at the top. Okay, we're at the top of the mountain now. The faux jazz shuffle that is Square Boy, you gotta get cool, get cool. It's a track that culminates with a big brassy oohs and ahs by Jeannie Saxon. She's best known for her performance on, are you ready? Elmo's favorite sing-along songs in 1995.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's hear a little of that.
Peter was a boy, an average all-American U.S. male, minding his own business in this crazy world, but the world wouldn't leave well enough alone. He had some problems with the girls. He didn't quite know how to strike up a conversation. No, we couldn't communicate with the feminine nation. Oh, in summation, you could say he was an egghead. But then one...
Shocking. Needless to say, this little curiosity is just the type of album to clear the room when those pesky partygoers are ignoring Last Call. The fact that it was reissued by Castle Music in the early 2000s is beyond baffling. But anyway, here's Dr. Octopus by Crack the Sky. Okay, sadly, can't say enough good about. Look at that.
Oh my God. I think this also might keep mosquitoes away.
Anyway, time for Wax of Contrition, and this week we are featuring Pig Destroyer's awesome Phantom Limb album.
Not sure how to effectively describe Pig Destroyer's Prowler in the Yard. Was it a reboot of grindcore or just death metal for the ADHD generation? By the late 90s, quality flash-burning firecrackers with 1 to 2 minute exercise and animalistic rage seemed a distant memory. In fact, after playing Ass Sucks Misery Index for everyone I ever met,
Great album.
I kind of forgot about the stuff. But the freaks that ran Relapse were in the zone, pushing the envelope with one remarkable release after another, stretching the definition of extreme music for the sick and depraved to new levels. And that marvelous display of face-kicking rage from Scott Hall, +2, stands as one of the label's crown jewels.
2007's Phantom Limb continues the great work that Hall achieved on the second album, Terrifier. Longer songs that still excite and bring the violence. But something about this album just feels heavier than anything they've ever done. The problem with a lot of grindcore is that it sort of loses potency after 5 songs. No matter how many O-rings the singer pops, no matter how ridiculous the drummer plays, and no matter how many politicians' heads are lyrically decapitated. Somehow, Scott Hall navigates around this problem by pulling back on the speed at just the right times, hard panning the riffs, doubling the guitars, and putting in buzzing solos from one channel to another. He pushes drummer Brian Harvey to the brink of madness with off-kilter stops, starts, and blasts, tempered by loose limb rolls that link all the biting and fighting together. So here's an example. This song is called 4th Degree Burns. Okay, continuing on.
There's something about Hall's knack for mid-tempo chug that separates this band from so many others. Honestly, the fast parts are okay, but it's when he comes slicing back with that in-your-face pit churner that the true colors of this album really shine. Just listen to Loathsome, which bounces along on a Slayer-informed crunch and then deceptively gears up for what seems like a blast of speed after a minute, only to sidestep into either a groovier, heavier rush to the cranium with Harvey's flashy stick work front and center for a full 4 minutes. If you want speed, Alexandria has got it, blasting out of the blocks from the very first note with uncanny rage and rancor, settling into perhaps the disc's best frigging riff around the 1.5 minute mark. Another death by mosh pit masterpiece.
As grindcore bands go, discussions always seem to center around early Napalm and Carcass, which I guess is fair, but the consistency of Pig Destroyer is something that we can't help but acknowledge. Long live Scott Hall and his band of miscreants.
This is Alexandria.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.